Hello and welcome everybody to the Awakening Podcast. My name is Christopher Schulz and I'm happy to welcome you today to my first episode. And in this podcast, we're going to talk about various different types of topics. And it's mainly going to be about your awakening, how you can awaken yourself, your metaphysical abilities, how you're going to see the world differently than you're used to. So, I'm going to start my first episode by telling about myself a little bit and about my story, how I came to be, and why I'm doing this now. So, it all started for me in the year 1990 when I was born. And when I was very young, I could already feel and sense something is strange and annoying, and I felt a lot of negativity, and there was a lot of fear and anger, and I couldn't understand why it is like that. So I had a feeling deep inside of me that something's wrong, and the way we're brought up and taught things when we grow up, there is something off. So I questioned everything. So my parents always tell me that I question everything, and I think that's a good approach. You gotta have an open mind. You know, you have to relax and don't worry so much. And I could see that life was kind of steered in the direction where you are stressed out and worried and fearful and angry. And this is not a not natural state to be in. If you look at animals, for example, we can learn so much from animals. You know, if I always have this little example about ducks. You know, for example, you see ducks swimming in a pond and they, get at each other and become aggressive. They fight for a little while, and then they swim in opposite directions and then they shake themselves. They shake all their emotions away and then they swim calmly ever after, and it's peace again. And I observed when I was already young that people were clinging onto their emotions and, dragging it with themselves for days, weeks, and making their life around the emotions. So this was something I observed, and I saw that everybody was suffering. We were taught in school, you have to do this and that, you have to go to work, you have to get a job, you have to earn money to live. And, you gotta ask yourself, why do we have to work to live on the planet that we were born on? Animals don't pay for housing or anything, they just live and get along with each other as much as they can and live from the resources of the planet. And humans are just, greedy and want to have everything for themselves. So they want to get as much money as possible to buy the things they want. And it's really just to keep you running around in circles in life, so you are distracted and don't realize what your true potential is, what you are truly inside, and what you can do, what your abilities are. The system is built up a way so you don't awaken and find out what's going on. So this is kind of why I'm starting this podcast here, to help people wake up and find out what's going on in the world and around them, and also to become aware of your spiritual family. We all live in physical bodies right now, if you're listening, and after you die, your body dies, you, as energy, as a spirit being, go back home to where you really live, and you're going to find out more and more about these topics in future episodes. So now we're going to catch on where I was while I was in childhood. So I observed that all the people were like kind of forced and programmed to live their life in a certain direction that they had to decide when they were like still in school or little, like, yeah, what you want to be when you grow up. And then you're out of school, you have to get a job, you maybe make an education, and then you are set. Usually the plan from the governments were like you were set for the next 40 years, and they can determine your outcome. So you have a job that you studied for, and then you do this for the next 40 years of your life, and you never should be questioning anything. Just consume the news media and the movies they are feeding you from Hollywood to entertain you. But it's really more deep stuff behind all of this. There's like subliminal programming into your subconscious mind, and by programming your subconscious mind, they determine how you live. So this is like a real big system all around the world. This is just to control and abuse all the people here on this planet and to make people suffer. So, deep inside, you might be searching for good things, and wondering why bad things are happening, and is there a holy God that created everything and is here to help us all? Well, this is not the case. If there was something like this, it would already be like paradise, So you have to wake up to reality and see how it is. And I will give you like guidance and steps by steps you can take to help accelerate your awakening experience, so you find out for yourself, you see for yourself and feel for yourself and get your own understanding, and so you accumulate your own wisdom. And then you're like, cool. You open up and you realize there's more to life than the everyday struggle you're put into. And this will make you feel better about yourself, make you more calm and less emotional, more balanced, less stressed, So you have to like observe your emotions, what is happening to you. There's a lot, stuff in life that triggers your emotions, that is just a part of daily life, and usually everything is controlled through money. So this money system was set up to control and abuse everybody, and to keep the poor people poor, and those few elites at the top can decide how your life is going to be. And yeah, so after I got out of school, so I was already a child that questioned everything, was wondering what's going on. I wanted to do good in the world, but I was kind of kept from doing it, and I didn't have the chance to to blossom and be me and relax, because there's always stuff going on in life that keeps you stressed out and in anger or fear or whatever. And yeah, it's like a continuous just circle you put into. It's like the machine you put into. So I tried to find a way out of this, normal, so to say, life that we are believed to be living, from growing up. But I wanted to find out for myself. I wanted to find out the truth for myself, and I was curious about spirituality and Buddha and all of that, and ghosts and spirituality. I was already into that in my teens. So after school, I went on to the military. This was like service we had to do. I'm living in Germany, and this is like what we had to do when we turned 18 and got out of school. We had to do military service, so I went there, and it was pretty cool. I enjoyed it, and then after like 2 weeks into the boot camp, I had an accident, and I was like sitting at home. Then had 2 surgeries in my knee, and had to stay home for like 4 or 5 months to recover and heal up. And this is when I started questioning life and the system and everything, and I got into meditation at that time because there was like nothing I could do. I was kind of tied to the bed, couldn't walk anymore, and was wondering. I was such a good-hearted person, want to do good, but then this kind of messed up my plans that I had set for my life. Wanted to become a pilot, and so this was kind of like a disqualification for me then, and I decided I'm going to take more like a spiritual path since then. And so then later on I went on to a spiritual Buddhistic acting school in Hamburg, Germany, and I was there for like 2 to 3 years, and I learned really a lot about the Eastern culture, the Asian culture, and teachings of Zen Buddhism. And so I got practical experiences there and learned some techniques that I applied for myself during my life. So after I was in acting school, I had another accident, and my knee was bad again, so I had to quit the acting school and quit the acting career, so to say. And then I just had time to recover from my injuries, and started really going into meditation. I was like hardcore doing things like fasting, not eating for a lot of days, not sleeping for a lot of days, and staying awake for long periods of time at a time, for a couple days at a time, and really kind of forced my spirit to come out. So this is like a technique I used to really put my body into questionable situations and really stressing it out. So it kind of forced my spirit out, and it made me stronger and helped me really quickly wake up then. So I did this for a while, and then I met an old man in overalls, and I met him through YouTube, and he had some answers to questions I had ever since my childhood, like how did it all start, why is everything so bad, and where did everything come from, why do we exist, are we real, what is real, are there different dimensions, and there were things that I kind of could feel for myself, and but I wasn't 100% sure, and he could answer all my questions. So I had a few consultations over the years with him, personally for the past 3 years, and he taught me a lot of things throughout the years on how to wake up, what is there, my metaphysical abilities, how to use them. And so this really then accelerated my experience of waking up and seeing things for myself. He also did some energy work on my brain and my body and my DNA that helped me really evolve and power up really, really strong, and access my metaphysical abilities with my spirit. And so now in 2018 I decided, I learned a lot the past 10 years. I went on my spiritual journey from being this regular a guy, growing up in society, having a good school education and wanting to pursue a, normal kind of career, to going into that spiritual path and discovering things for myself and accumulating wisdom. And now, so I want to share this, my experiences and my journey with you, and give you tips and tricks and hints how you can wake up and see for yourself, and do this in the most quickest way possible. Yeah, so this is kind of my story and the intention behind this podcast, and I hope to be your spiritual body, and guide you, and take you on your journey, on your own awakening, and help you see for yourself, and make this world a better place. It starts with one person at a time, and each one of us has to discover their own self, their own inner light within themselves, and then just spread the word and help other people. So this is kind of the intention, and this kind of movement that we're getting started. And it's also, what I was told by the old man that I met. His name is Jay Essex. You can look him up on YouTube also. And he has a lot of interesting stuff to say. And this is stuff nobody has ever been talking about ever in creation's history, and it's exciting times. There's a lot of things that have been happened on the other side, and changes are taking place, and the whole creation is going in a much more brighter future and direction right now. And this is really positive news to bring you. And yeah, I'm so excited what's to come, and how life is going to be, because there's also going to be changes taking place, with your own physical bodies. There's in evolvement and DNA that's taking place, and lots of cool stuff. And you're going to find out in the near future, and just stay posted, stay tuned for future episodes. I'll keep you updated. We have a lot of interesting topics to talk about. And so this was it for the first episode of the Awakening podcast with Christopher Schultz, and I hope to welcome you in the next future episodes. Thank you for listening and tuning in, and I'll talk to you soon.